Welcome back everyone, and in this video, we're gonna do a 1-year review on my Tesla Model 3 performance. So it has officially been 1 year since I bought my Tesla. It was sometime in December, and I went out, I decided to buy one, took a little while for it to actually get there, but I bought it, and so far I have been absolutely loving it. And I've watched a few videos of people explaining their reviews and whatnot, but I'm gonna do mine a little bit different because if you like a car and you test drive a car and you drive it and you wanna know how it is after a year, I see a lot of people saying what they like and dislike about it, but that's the same stuff that you already know going into buying a car if you do your research. So I'm gonna go over a few things that I think are pretty important when you're looking at a 1-year review on a car on whether it stands up, how well it does, costs, etc. So the first thing I'm gonna go for is the maintenance costs. So we're talking about maintenance, repairs, cost to own this thing, and of course, how much did I save or did I save anything when it comes to filling up with gas versus electric? So first up, an entire year of having this, I've spent $0 on maintenance. I've spent $0 on repairs. I've spent $0 on anything on this car, but a gigantic asterisk, caveat, whatever you want to call it. Yes, I have done upgrades on the car, but yeah, that's why I say asterisk, caveat, grain of salt, whatever you want. I have done quite a few things. So if you've been watching the channel, you know I've got some PPF up front. I've got new wheels and tires. I've got a few things on the inside, like when I decided to install a little screen up here. I also did one here in the back, the tilt screen, really just little fun accessories that make the car better for whoever decides. Some people don't like these things, but you can accessorize your car however you like. But besides those things, which are completely optional, you don't have to buy those, I've had zero problems, zero issues, zero mechanicals, zero anything with this car. Absolutely nothing. Yes, I know it's been a year, but that's a really good thing. You drive this thing for a year and you have zero issues with it. That's amazing. Now, let's jump onto the Tesla app and let's take a look at how much I've actually paid to drive this car versus an average car getting average MPG with average gas prices.
All right, so we've got the app open. We can see Mr. Sparky here, which I named my car. So let's go ahead and jump into charging. And now we're in charging. You can see this is the last year from February to January. And if I go back, I can go to 2023. That's when I got it, so the last part of December. But let's do all of January. So I spent a total of $150. Now this does include, you can see I have 15% supercharger, and I did have free supercharging for the first little bit that I owned the car. So supercharger, some of it's free, some of it I had to pay. In November, I paid for that one. 83% of it, I charged at home, which when I charge at home, you can see down here, I paid 10 cents a kilowatt hour. The supercharger, my average was 0.07, but that's not actual. It changes depending on where you go. And I did have one small other, which was when I went to my aunt's house and charged at her house, which was free. So I spent a total for the year $150. And in gas, I would have spent $642. So I saved almost $500. I'm going to make this very clear that I do not drive a lot. So I only have, all right here you can see that I have 5,802 miles. So a little over 5,000 miles in a year.
Now, because this is a Tesla, it is miles different from really any gas-powered vehicle, any vehicle that I've honestly been in. Now that Tesla's been out, a lot of people are doing very similar things with their electric cars. However, this is a very unique car. You can't get a regular person that's never been in an electric car and say, get on in. And they're like, okay. Open. They don't know what they're doing. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go over all the things that people basically aren't used to when they first get the car, things that I wasn't used to or didn't know how to do or different compared to a regular gas-powered vehicle. And of course, one of those things is the door handles. Have I ever gotten used to having these door handles? And the answer is yes, of course. As soon as you know how to use these, you just automatically use them every single time. It doesn't ever slip me up. I don't ever accidentally try to grab for it and go, oh, that's right, these door handles are different. So this is like a day one thing. Once you learn it, you get used to it, you never deal with it again. The second one is inside the car. Now we're just talking about the infotainment, basically just the technology in general. So when you look around this car, there's not really a whole lot here. Even the new ones, they got rid of the signal stocks. But other than that, everything's controlled through here. Or something I missed on my initial impressions video is if you hold down the button, you can do voice commands, which basically does everything in the car, and it's only getting better. So that's something I'm still not 100% used to. This is something that in some ways still bothers me, and you can see it bothers other people too, because there are certain accessories down here. You can have physical buttons. It's certain things that just you can't get used to. Like, oh, open the glove box, and you're like, oh, there's no hand. I can't just automatically go over there and open that. Either I have to go in here, or I have to hold down here and say, hey, open the glove box. Sometimes it takes a little while for it to recognize if you just opened up the car and it's got to connect. Some things aren't perfect. I would say that's one of the things where I'm kind of on the fence, where I kind of have gotten used to it, but I haven't really gotten used to it in its convenience factor. Next up is right down here, that accelerator pedal. Have I gotten used to the speed? And if you guys watch my channels, you know I have a bunch of videos of people's reaction of the speed of this car, which is mind-blowing. So the answer is yes and no. So having that power, it doesn't affect driving experience. There's nothing crazy. It's not driving 1,000 horsepower Camaro where it's very loud and you just barely touch the throttle and you kind of, no, it's not like that. It's very tame unless you put it to the ground. So that 100%, it's like I don't even have a fast car. But when I do push the accelerator down and I fly through the streets, I don't think I will ever be used to that. 0% used to that. That is something that still just melts my mind every single time, and I love it. And since we're on the subject of the accelerator, let's talk about one-pedal driving. This was my first impression of one-pedal driving was, I am never going to get used to this. I don't like it. When I saw reviews of, like, I think the Chevy Bolt, they have a little stock over here to where you can kind of adjust how much regenerative braking you can do. I really liked that. Never used it, but I saw the videos of it, and I thought I would like that a lot better. However, after driving this car for, I would say maybe 2-3 days tops, it becomes second nature, and it was the craziest thing. You just use the accelerator to accelerate, and then as you come off of it, the car slows depending on how much you come off of it. It's something that, strangely enough, your brain just gets used to so quickly. So that's something I have zero issues with now, but a new driver would definitely need some time to learn about that. For me, I don't even think about it anymore. And as we're driving down the road, you've got to know that Tesla has Autopilot. Not even the full self-drive. I don't pay for the full self-drive or the subscription. I get the freebies when they get them out, of course, and it's so cool. But just the regular Autopilot where it stays in the lane, it's kind of like what most cars have, but way better. And that's something that I still have not gotten used to. If I flick the stock and it drives me down the highway or whatnot, again, this is not the full self-drive where it changes lanes, but just keeping it in the lane and me just having to rest a finger on here, and it can drive forever until I stop it. It's crazy to have cruise control to where you're not really driving. And I'm sure full self-drive, if I had that
I actually bought it, I still wouldn't get used to that either. It's just a very crazy thing that technology has taken over and it still hasn't registered. And another thing that I have not fully gotten used to, which I was just talking about, are those voice commands, those voice controls where you just hold it down, open the glove compartment. I know the car has that. I know the car can do things like that, like the windshield wipers, whatever you think of, but it's not something you think of having in a car, so I rarely use it because I forget that I have it. So that's something, I think the more I use it, the more I'll get used to it. But even after a year of ownership, I only use it a few times when I remember that I have it. Now, I'm not sure about anyone else because I think this depends on how often you drive and also if you have a secondary car that's gas powered. But when you think about gas stations or refuel or recharge, whatever you want to think about in those terms, it's something that I still think about. And it's not something I think about in a gas powered car. Any of my cars, I've never thought about, oh, how close I am to empty. Where's the nearest? No, I never think about that. Even though this car, if I charge it completely, it's over 300 miles, I still constantly look at my consumption. I still see what my range is. I still have that range anxiety, even though I've never even gotten close to running out of charge. It's something that still bothers me for some reason. And here sitting in the car, of course I'm in my garage, but this is a very quiet car. The interior itself is very nice. It's not like the most expensive Audi, Bentley, whatever, quiet. But you also have to think about this thing doesn't have a motor. And so at low speeds, there's basically zero noise. And at highway speeds, you just have the road noise and your tire noise. Now, honestly, if you drive a modern car or anything in general that is relatively modern or new, it's actually something that you get used to very quickly, the quietness. If I jump into the other car, I have a 2020 Civic, it's not like I get in there and it's a really loud engine noise. It's a 2020 Civic. You barely hear the engine unless you're really pushing down on the accelerator and you can hear it struggle, to be honest. But unless you have a really loud car, maybe like a tuned car or a V8, if you have a modern quiet car with all the stupid regulations and whatnot, you are not going to notice this car being absurdly quiet comparatively. When I thought I really would, I'd be like, oh, no engine, it's going to be whisper quiet. No, you still have, regular tire noise and whatnot. It's a difference. It's better, but it's not something that I remember constantly while driving. And while we're in here, we've got to talk about the updates. This is something that I will probably never get used to, but as they come up with new things, as they tweak settings and whatnot, the over-the-air updates, the free over-the-air updates where they can make your car faster, they can make it more efficient, they can change the heating, the cooling, the layout, the dynamic, the graphics. So many things can change. 100% free, over the air, overnight. You just get in your car, oh, I have an update, boom. Now my windshield wipers work better. Now my autopilot works better. Now my car accelerates faster. That's something that you might get in a phone, but you don't think about in a car. And that's something that I have not gotten used to, but it's amazing. Now, if you do have a modern car that has like keyless entry, this might be something that you're used to, because when you walk up to your car, I have rental cars that are new and they have that. As long as you got that key in your pocket and you grab the door handle, it'll unlock itself. So you really don't think about your keys too often. But this takes it a step further because your phone is the key. So it's not something I've gotten used to yet, is walking around, driving this car, going to the store, and I still, to this day, I come up to the car and I check my pockets for the keys and remember, oh, I don't need keys. It's my phone. As long as my phone's on me, I get in, I go, I drive. Still not something I get used to. And it's something I really hope I do get used to, because I hate having keys in my pocket and you always have your phone. So it's amazing. And I know there's a lot of other people that do reviews on here and they talk about the things they love and the things that they hate. But I have
2 videos coming up after this video. So if you're watching this in the future, I already have them. If you're watching this within the week that I post it, those will be coming up next. Next Fridays is when I post. But there are things that I love about this car and hate about this car. But I don't think that's more of a review video, but I will go over them briefly. And if you want to know more, watch those other videos. I'll go into detail. But as you know, if you've been watching this video, there's many things that I do love about this car, the speed, the price and whatnot that I got it for. If you watched that first video, I love the glass roof. If you're a passenger, it's even better. And of course, you can do camping in this car. You can put it in camping mode and that can be your roof and you can look up at the stars. It's amazing. There's many things on this car that I love. Of course, 0 maintenance so far. That's amazing. That saved me so much money for this particular model and any other all-wheel drive. Look at my last video that I did when I tested the all-wheel drive. It is phenomenally good. But of course, there are things that don't exactly float my boat and I don't really like, or maybe they're just something that nags me, like the range anxiety, or having to go and push a button or whatnot to get into the glove compartment. It's cool, but it's not the most convenient thing in the world. Or based on how much these cars are. Yes, I know things have changed, but like AC seats. I would love to have AC seats, ventilated seats, even though I have them over there aftermarket. The new ones have it, yes, but still, I bought this car and it doesn't have it. And there's some other small things like sometimes how the cameras perform or how well your cell phone connects to the car itself can sometimes be a little annoying. So there are things that I love about it and there's a few things that I really don't like. But like I said, if you guys want to watch that video, my next 2 videos will be 10 things I love about this car in detail and 10 things I hate about this car in detail. So that is my review after 1 year of having a Tesla Model 3 Performance. And overall, of course I love it. Of course I want everyone to experience it. I try to get all people that have never been in an electric car, put them in that seat and get their reactions. If you want to watch those videos, oh, trust me, I have a handful of them and they're amazing and they're hilarious. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe if you're thinking about one, down below I've got a referral code. Feel free to use it if you want, but I will see you guys in those next videos.